side, and welcome to the 2025 American League Division Series on Fox, presented by Booking.com. We're in October in Toronto, and it's 75 degrees, and these folks are revved up no matter rain or shine, ready for postseason baseball. We welcome you inside. We welcome you to the postseason here on Fox. Joe Davis with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. 162 games, not enough to decide the division between these teams. They both win 94 games. Blue Jays win the division with a tiebreaker, get home field advantage, but ultimately, John, we'll decide this thing here in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great run down to the end, and the Blue Jays, one of the best home field teams in all of baseball, facing the Yankees, who are pretty good on the road. But I think for the Blue Jays, the rest is going to be the question, right? They needed the rest. They got home field advantage, and can they keep doing what they did the last 2 months of the season to be successful?
So the Blue Jays have home field advantage while the Yankees have the momentum. They are the hottest team in baseball, and they think, John, more well-rounded, more well-equipped to finish the job this year.
Absolutely. Everybody wanted to know what they would be without Soto. They've been pretty good, and they got the best outfield combination offensively in all of baseball. Look at the numbers. It's going to be hard to even get close to him. So you think about Judge, absolute MVP season. He speaks for himself, but the surrounding cast is why they're better. For Aaron Judge, the focus, fair or not, is going to be on the postseason. He's been better of late. Can he take his walks? I don't think he's going to get as many pitches to hit, so can he be patient? And I think his postseason numbers get better.
A lot of us know about the Yankees. Let's get to know these Blue Jays, who went from last place last year to the top seed this year, and they've done it with their fair share of superstars, but really, John, they have defined the word team.
Absolutely. They knew they'd get better performances than they did last year. Everything went wrong. And what went right for them this year, offensively, they put the ball in play. They don't strike out, and they lead a lot of categories offensively. That's what they have to do well. Here's the formula for success. See that column where it says first? That's why they're in first place, and that's why they're a dangerous team. If they can continue that, I don't see why they won't continue. On the flip side, they need their stars. One of them's out, but they need their stars to be great, and this is the guy who struggled down the stretch. If he regains his form, Blue Jays are in good hand.
Yeah, we got a couple storylines that match. You got two teams trying to end droughts of different forms. You got two superstars who have not done it in the postseason, trying to deliver on this stage really for the first time. And in Toronto, they hope to party like it's 1993, or at least like 2016, the last time they won a postseason game. The Yankees are hoping they're playing their best baseball at the right time as they try to win it all for the first time since 2009. Game one of the division series coming up on Fox. Yeah, you figure you're headed up to Toronto for the postseason. Pack your coats, pack your hats. Average degrees 59 on October 4th, but it's 77 degrees for game one of the division series, and the roof is open, which has only been the case one time in 31 postseason games in Rogers Center history. The first time they had it open, it ended in Encarnacion's walk-off home run. Down to the field we go. Hello, Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. The Blue Jays are the top seed in the American League, ALDS champs for the first time since 2015. They've done it with unexpected contributions from role players. A great comeback season from George Springer, the star power of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Their next step, to end their 7-game postseason losing streak dating to 2016. And they're going to play this series without one of their best hitters, Bo Bichette, who is out with a left knee sprain. Also off the roster, two prominent veteran starting pitchers, Max Scherzer and Chris Bassett. The Jays instead will go with 4 left-handed relievers, the better to match up with the Yankees.
All right, Kenny, and we take a look at today's same-game parlay, which is available now on FanDuel. A couple Yankees are featured, and Judge and Stan, who have both hit Kevin Gausman hard, and George Springer having a monster season for the Blue Jays. Now we take a look at Fox Foresight, which is powered by Google Cloud. John, you handle this one.
Well, this is going to be what the percentage for Mr. Judge to get an RBI. I say yes. Look at the 6 home runs against Gausman early in his career, 114 RBIs this year. So even though it only says 42%, I say yes, he gets an RBI tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Smoltz. Thanks to Google Cloud for powering these real-time insights. How about the Yankees lineup now after beating Boston in the wild card round? It'll look like this with Trent Grisham to lead off. Judge bats second in right field, followed by Cody Bellinger and Ben Rice. Couple couple of the left-handed hitters that have been ejected into the lineup this year and thrive. Stanton DHs with Jazz Chisholm at second, hitting sixth. Ryan McMahon, the third baseman acquired at the deadline from Colorado, with Anthony Volpe doing it again in the postseason, and Austin Wells catching and hitting ninth. There are no mysteries here, John. Kevin Gausman faces the Yankees for the 5th time this year and for the 40th time in his career.
Yeah, they got a lot of film and a lot of history against him. He had his way early with the Yankees. He's got a 3.97 ERA. You see his record on the year, and his usage of pitches is going to be primarily fastball and split. Now, he'll throw an occasional slider, but if his fastball is throwing strikes like he normally does, and he can elevate, he stays low to the ground with that good split finger.
And now, who the home plate umpire can make a big difference for this guy.
Absolutely. Watch for the strike zone. It might be more east and west with this umpire than up and down, but the strike zone is going to be huge for the different pitchers that are on the mound tonight.
Yankees have won 13 of their last 15 games. Hottest team in baseball, pursuing back-to-back pennants, trying to win it all for the first time since 2009. And as Kenny told us, the Blue Jays division champs for the first time in a decade. They've ended that drought, now trying to win a postseason game for the first time in 9 years. Trent Grisham leads off for the Yankees. Gausman comes from, and off we go with a bouncing ball along first. That is a fair ball, and 1 pitch, 1 out. And Grisham saying, I don't think so. I think he's arguing that he fouled it off his foot, and then he's hoping that it stayed foul. This didn't take long.
No, fastball early on, and it hit off his toe is what he's saying, and the top spin of that ball, watch this hit off the toe right there, and that caused the ball actually to go back fair.
So this call's going to stand. And Grisham's right
off
on
the
there.
toe. Yeah, I mean the hitter's going to know right away, and he didn't run. So, but that's a dream first pitch out in the postseason for a pitcher.
And now here comes Aaron Judge. 53 home runs this season. Pops the first one up into foul ground for Vlad Guerrero Jr. Over the shoulder. He can't quite get there.
Well, the interesting thing I thought after watching all the film on Gausman against the Yankees this year is his fastball command early, 70% strike for 1, right? And then you don't want to get the 2 strikes and see that split finger fastball. So early on, the 2 Yankee hitters swinging at the first 2 pitch might be a theme that their offense is given the approach against Gausman.
Aaron Judge, 6 home runs against Kevin Gausman. That's more than against any other pitcher. And he rips a base hit to the left side. Yankees have their first base runner of the day as Aaron Judge continues what he did in the wild card round when he had 4 hits against Boston, all of them singles.
Well, he's had the complete year. I mean, he was flirting with 350, 360 most of the year. And I know it's strange when we ask Aaron Boone, he goes, I still think he's got a chance to click in. He's not totally locked in. And if he's not totally locked in, he needs another lead.
Yeah. By far the best hitter in baseball this year is aboard for the Yankees here, and Cody Bellinger comes up. And we're talking about how much more well-rounded this Yankees team is. Where last year terrifying, and then he had Judge and Soto. Soto goes out. 1 week later, one of the first moves they make is they trade for Cody Bellinger from the Cubs, and he's having as good of a season as anybody that's not getting talked about as having a great year. Elite defense at 3 positions in the outfield. 29 home runs, and this is a former MVP who had such high highs in LA, but then such low lows that saw him on the way out, who's really steadied into a solid veteran player.
Yeah, he has. He does not like facing Gausman, though. It has been a big struggle for him. They exposed him early, maybe those years with the Dodgers, but the numbers aren't great. And he's going to have to try to get a fastball down that he likes, but the problem with a fastball down is you think it's a fastball and it ends up being a split. You get a swing and miss, and that's what they've gotten Bellinger on a lot.
On this 1-1, it is a splitter, and it's grounded foul, 1-2. We're talking about all the times that Gausman has faced these Yankees, and certainly you know what's coming, even if you've only faced him once, because it's pretty much all fastball splitter. But especially when he has that fastball going, he's still so hard to hit, even when you know what's coming.
Exactly, and with 2 strikes, he can elevate the fastball because they're going to be thinking about anything up. They're going to attack as the hitters down. They're trying to decide what it is.
Fastball is poked foul.
And see, there's that fastball up, and if they tie him up inside, he's got no chance. So you're basically looking at up and down, vertical, south and north is what he's going to be pitching to these hitters because of the style of pitching he has. He really doesn't throw his slider much, so that's the east to west pitch. And I think for the Yankees, they're going to try to get as many fastballs as they can early in the count.
Judge at first, 1 away. Gausman to Bellinger with another 1-2. It is another fastball. It's way up there into center field for Dalton Varsho. Bellinger retired, 2 gone in his first. And it brings up Ben Rice, whose breakout this season has continued into the postseason. He homered on the very first pitch that he saw as a playoff player in Game 2 against Boston. This guy hits the ball hard, man.
Yeah, he does. Look for a lot of splits, especially in scoring situations against him. There's one right there, and he'll see a lot of those. He's got it's such a good pitch for Gausman because you have to respect his fastball, and we'll show you later in the game why this pitch does what it does and has the impact it has. It's still off of his fastball command. If he was wild with his fastball, he wouldn't get that many swings on that pitch.
He goes back-to-back splitters, and it's 0-2.
There's no reason to change. Now, if you want to do anything, you got to throw this splitter away from him. But he could literally lock him up with a fastball up. I think you just go 3 in a row and see what Rice does. Yeah, a good pitch. I mean, that's where you want it. 0-2. You have the luxury of 2 pitches to get the hitters to fish. If he'd have had this pitch a little bit outside more and see how it came out a little bit low, they could recognize it. Really set up for the fastball kill pitch if he wants it.
It is a fastball. It's fouled off.
Basically at home, if you're watching a game, the cat and mouse game between the pitcher and the hitter and the catcher, they're recognizing that when you slow a hitter down at 3 straight pitches, you then can speed him up with a fastball. They can't catch up to it. A perfectly located pitch, and he has no chance. So that's the reality of these 2 tight pitches, why he can survive all game with 2 pitches.
He's home with another 1-2, and it fades away for strike 3. Finished him off with a splitter. Scoreless top of the first for Kevin Gausman. Blue Jays come to bat against Luis Gil after this. Today's telecast is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Step up to the plate for savings. Blue Jays coming to bat for the first time here in Game 1. This is the lineup with George Springer headed up there to lead things off. Nathan Lucas will follow him. Then it's Vlad Guerrero Jr. at first base. Addison Barger starts at third and bats cleanup. Kirk is the catcher and 5-hitter with Varsho in center field. Santander in left. Jimenez plays short with Bichette out. And Ernie Clement is at second base hitting 9. Luis Gil, the reigning rookie of the year, missed a lot of this season with a lat injury. He gave up 5 runs in his first game back, but he's 4-0 in the 10 starts since.
Yeah, control. That's going to be the key. Can he have enough control and throw enough strikes against an aggressive team that does not see a lot of pitches and puts the ball in play?
They're the best bat-to-ball team in baseball right here. And Springer goes after the first one, strike 1.
Fastball, and you mentioned maybe not enough swing and miss that we're used to seeing with Gil, but this team, the best at home, they put the most balls in play against right-handed pitching. They just do the little things 1 through 9.
Springer chops this one to third. McMahon a running throw to get him.
For Luis Gil, he's going to primarily throw fastballs, changeups. He's got his slider. That needs to be upgraded for today's game. The changeup doesn't have a lot of swing and miss. It's more like a 91, 92 mile an hour fastball with a little bit of fade. So that's how hard he throws it. But they say he has the moxie and the ability to work in and out of trouble, and he might be the right guy for the right situation here in game 1.
Aaron Boone was telling us before the game, I know it hasn't always looked pretty with him. There are a lot of walks, but the one thing I do know is that he's not afraid coming and pitching in an environment like this. Nathan Lucas. You got a team full of guys that, you know, the fringes of the roster, guys that nobody had ever heard of coming into the year that have played a big role. And this is the first of those guys here. And Nathan Lucas, who's gotten his first real shot in the majors at the age of 31. Hits it hard, but Volpe plucks it, and 2 up and 2 down for Gil.
The Yankees defense so much better than last year. I think they're a more athletic team, and even this little slump that Volpe went through defensively, he's been really good lately. And on this turf, which Toronto's very familiar with, you got to get a couple of those tricky bounces, and as a road team, it's a little bit more foreign for you than your home park, obviously.
Now, the Yankees lost 6 of the 7 games here this year and committed 11 errors in those 7 games. Vlad Guerrero Jr. takes high. Well, if the Jays are going to make a run, John, they got to get more than they've gotten lately from Guerrero, who's not homered in a month.
Yeah, a lot of ground balls, and really the average plummeting the last 2 weeks. He's a timing hitter. He's just like his dad in the fact that, you know, he sometimes has those wild swings, but he's going to put the ball in play, and he loves the fastball. I talked about the strike zone for either pitcher. Gil wants the ball up. He'll take the fastball that he throws up versus what Gausman will take down. There's the difference between the style of pitching between these two guys.
Vlad Jr. on 2-1. It's a high fly ball to deep left field. Bellinger's going back, and it is gone. Vlad Guerrero Jr. homers in his first at-bat of the postseason. Calendar flips to October, and he hits his first home run in a month.
I didn't like the pitch. Change up in. I know he's a good fastball hitter, but see how he can drop the barrel of the bat on a 91 mile an hour changeup. It looks like an average fastball and didn't have the movement. Kept it fair down the line, and they strike first.
And now Addison Barger swings at the first pitch, strike 1. Well, the Blue Jays, we've talked about, are the best bat-to-ball team. They're first in average. They're first in on base. But that is not to say that they can't hit it out of the park. They've had enough power to pair with their bat-to-ball ability. And this guy right here, and Vlad Jr., 23 during the regular season. But the guy at the plate following him is one of those emerging players. And Addison Barger, who started the season in AAA, comes up and he's hit 21 home runs. And he swings hard. Ball 2. He's ahead 2-0. 25 years of age, his second season in the big leagues. He was back and forth last year, hit below 200. Constantly, he said, tweaking, changed his swing. But this year got back to what he had always done, and that is wide open stance, that leg kick, and try to hit it a mile.
Yeah, last 36 games along with Vlad down the stretch weren't great for him, but you wonder what the off time does for these hitters, right? You're not built in a season to have 5 days off, but when you're struggling, maybe it's the perfect time off that you need.
Barger down in the high fastball. Blue Jays get on the board first, though, and these fans, they love this guy. Face of the franchise, makes his mark and wastes no time in doing it. Now he's dressed for the occasion. Vlad Jr. after hitting his first career postseason home run. As the Blue Jays ahead 1-0, Kevin Gausman goes back to work here in the second with 5, 6, and 7 coming up for the Yankees. Giancarlo Stanton to lead things off. Missed a lot of this season with elbow issues, but he comes back mid-season, and he's had his best year with the Yankees.
He has. He looks more balanced. He looks more in control of the box. Sometimes he gets off balance and swings wild, but if you miss middle in and you miss down, you're not getting it back. This year, he's closed that window.
Check swing foul. Gosman's ahead of him 0-2.
And that's where you got to go. You got to go up and in to get Stanton from getting his arms extended. He started him off with that rare slider. And he got him conscious up and in. Maybe he goes away right here with 2 strikes.
24 home runs this year for Stanton. 2 of those came against Gosman, who fires an 0-2 pitch. It is a splitter, hit down to third. Recovered by Barger. High throw, but Guerrero's got it for the first out.
So the challenge that the Yankees are going to have is they got to decide how aggressive do they be, which if you're aggressive and not successful, you let the starter go deep into the game. And this guy that's at the plate has had nothing but trouble against Gosman. 0-for. And he's looking for that fastball belt high that Gosman has not given him. A lot of splits, a lot of fastballs down.
0-for 13 to be exact against Kevin Gosman. He rode the bench in game 1 of the wild card round against Garrett Crochet, but Aaron Boone said, nah, he changes the game in too many ways to look at that sample size against Gosman and to have him out of there in this situation. And he's shown that throughout his first full year with the Yankees, the many ways that he can impact the game. How about with his base running the other day in game 2, scoring from first base to give him the winning run?
Yeah, he's just got to make a little more contact. A lot of swing and miss lately, especially against this guy. And if he goes, the Yankees are going to go. Imagine him in the 6th spot doing some damage.
30 home runs, 30 stolen bases this season for Jazz Chisholm Jr., who they got at the deadline last year from Miami. You talk about going from bottom of the bottom to brightest spotlight, and Jazz thrives with that. He's loved playing with New York. In a 1-2 hole, Gosman deals. Down the line, that is a fair ball and a base hit for Chisholm. Lucas is playing over there, so he holds him to a single. The 1-on-1 out here in the second, and for more on Kevin Gosman, down to Kenny.
Joe, Kevin Gosman threw a career-high 193 innings this year, and yet at age 34, he seemed to get stronger along the way. His fastball velocity peaked in September, averaging 95 miles an hour. Gosman said he benefited from pitching on an extra day's rest 6 straight starts late in the season. He's on extra rest again today, and again averaging 95 with the fastball.
Well, he'd like to have that pitch back, and that's the one pitch that could get Jazz going. That fastball up was supposed to be way up and just a waste pitch. That was the only chance that Chisholm had to get a hit off him, and so he'll be kicking himself over that one.
Here's the fastball to get ahead of Ryan McMahon here. Chisholm, 31 stolen bases. You know, the Yankees, we talk about them beating you in more ways than just the homer. They lead the majors in steals since the start of August. Obviously, adding Caballero helped, but Chisholm has started to run like wild. As we saw the other day, he doesn't even have to be running. They would have to be stealing bases to make an impact with his legs, scoring all the way from first in game 2. Got a good lead over there. Gosman deals the 1-1 pitch. In for strike 2. Yes, they're number 1 in home runs, but they're stealing bases as well. In the wild card round, 20 of the 25 hits were singles. They didn't have any home runs from Judge or from Stanton. And you ask Aaron Boone, how are you different than the team that went into the postseason last year? He said just how versatile the offensive attack is. Here's the 1-2.
Ball 2.
Ball 2.
Again, you're going to see a lot of this, changing the eye level. All he wants to do is change the eye level up and down. You can follow that pitch right there with a split finger here with 2-2 count.
On a 2-2, McMahon takes outside, and the count goes full.
Looking for the east-west strike zone. That one's too far out.
34-year-old from Colorado trying to get his first career postseason win. And that is not for a lack of opportunities. He's pitched in 8 postseason games. He's 0-2. He's pitched in 2 of them with the Blue Jays and given up 7 runs in 9 2/3. And so like a lot of these guys that have had success in recent years, just trying to duplicate that in the postseason. Chisholm at first, 1 away. 3-2 pitch. Lofted foul.
The only game they really this year got to Gosman, it was a 53-pitch inning. That's right, 53 pitches, which I've never heard of by a pitcher. They used a lot of foul balls, a lot of 3-2 counts, and ultimately the blow with the bases loaded to knock in there.
Broken bat, diving catch by Vlad Jr. Vlad's put a stamp all over this game through 2 innings. You think Vlad, you think offense, you think home runs, but do you think this? Wow! T-Mobile, the best network in the game, is now the best network in America. John, I'm just going to let you handle Alejandro Kirk because I think he's your favorite player.
Yeah, he's one of the most underrated hitters and one of the most underrated players on this team. He does it all. I mean, don't let his size confuse you.
Oh, baby! Drives this ball a mile, and it's 2-0 Toronto. Captain Kirk lifts off, and the Stars delivering for the Jays in Game 1.
Well, right on cue. Not a lot of wasted motion in everything he does. He may be not known to hit 30 home runs, but when he sees it, he hits it. And the Rays are doing exactly what you were concerned. If you're thinking about the layoff and the hitters, well, so far, no big deal.
Yeah, today that narrative's kind of dying. You see what the Brewers were doing against the Cubs? Had 9 runs through 3 innings.
Yeah, starting to get used to it, right?
Dalton Varsho here, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, the thing about Heel is, you know, they don't string a lot of hits against him in 1 inning, but he's been making a couple secondary pitches not exactly where you want to, and that's the difference in the game right now with 2 swings.
It's 2-1 on Varsho. You go from Alejandro Kirk to a guy in Varsho hit 20 home runs in 71 games. As far as home runs per at-bat, he's right up there with the who's who of sluggers across baseball. 2-2 on it. One of the biggest swings of the season came in the final week. Blue Jays were fading. Yankees had caught up. Jays had lost 6 of their last 7. They had hardly scored during that stretch. It was a 0-0 game late in it, and Varsho launched a grand slam that started a 4-game winning streak to end the year. Toronto hung on to win the division with the tiebreaker.
Right now, the reason it's hard to hit his 4-seam fastball and the reason it's hard for him to control it, he has a lot of cut action to it. He's getting underneath it right now. And see that one right there, just kind of spinning in the middle of the zone. For Heel, he works hard on his velocity, but also that changeup slider combination. And right now, not truly connected with the location of it. And that's going to be the difference if he stays in the game longer or exits earlier.
27-year-old from the Dominican Republic, home to Varsho with a payoff, and that's golfed foul. Eighth pitch to Varsho. Up the middle and through. Varsho goes out to get a changeup. Singles into center. Back to the home run, though, from Kirk.
Yeah, when you see this pitch, see the spin on it, how it just stays middle in. And that ball was launched. I mean, that ball was gone as soon as he hit it. And for Heel, you can be effectively wild, but you can't live in the strike zone, in the meat of the strike zone, because this team's too good in the strike zone in Toronto.
If you're going to miss the other way.
Yeah.
Bad miss right there. Put it on a tee. Anthony Santander with a runner at first and nobody out. Santander a year ago hit 44 home runs for the Baltimore Orioles and earned himself a big payday with the Blue Jays, but his shoulder got injured early on. He had a total of 6 home runs this year as he missed a lot of the season. We're talking with John Schneider. What role does he have? He came back the final couple weeks, didn't do a whole lot. And John said, we paid this guy for a reason. We signed him for a reason. We're going to trust that he can find it here in October. It's enticing for a lineup that has so much bat to ball and average ability to look at a guy like this that can hit home runs.
See, this next pitch should be nowhere near the strike zone. And Heel, who can strike out a bunch of hitters, he's not having the movement on his secondary pitches that is fooling anybody right now. So the touch is not there.
He's just not been able to put guys away this year like he could as a rookie. He's had the biggest drop in strikeout rate of any pitcher in baseball from last year to this year.
Yeah, and I'd like to think that's mechanical because your pitches don't have that late life and don't have that execute bite to them to get the swing and miss.
Tries another 0-2 and misses badly.
See, that's underneath. Now, what makes him unique is his long arm that he can throw a baseball with. But when you get underneath a changeup, you just have no chance for that to be successful. It just fades up and away. It's a non-competitive pitch.
Still trying to get the first out of the second inning. Santander fouls another. This guy had well above average strikeout rate last year, winning Rookie of the Year. A total of 12 strikeouts his last 5 starts of the regular season. Santander fouls it again.
But see, this is a good example, okay? When you're electric and you got your best stuff, you can get away with missing location. But if you don't have the swing and miss stuff, you cannot get away with location. And here now he's missing by a foot. He tried to throw that ball in a place that cut back inside, and he was not trying to throw that ball there.
Santander's fouled 5 pitches off. Here comes another, and he takes it high, nowhere close to where he wanted it.
And that is coming out of his hand, cutting. He wanted to throw that ball away, and he threw a cutter up and in. It's just not connected, and you have games like this. And that's why the pen is up for the Yankees, because they could see it right away that he is not connected with his pitches. And Aaron Boone said he will be aggressive if he doesn't see what he wants to see out of Heel.
He's seen pretty much only what he's wanted to see so far in this playoff run. The starting pitching was so good in the wild card round with Fried and Rodon and Schlittler the other night. Man, oh man, this marathon continues.
So in a perfect world right now, he would throw a changeup that fades away low, but he hasn't been able to locate his changeup. He has nothing going away from a left-hander. So everything that they're fouling is going to be fastball and middle in, and that breaking ball middle in. Needs to get him to reach for something away.
On the 9th pitch, Santander swings and misses. He finally finishes him off with the fastball. As Santander gets an appreciative cheer from this Toronto crowd. So Hill finally gets the first out of the second. Here comes Andres Jimenez, who's starting at short, moving over from second, with Bichette unable to get ready, get healthy from that knee issue in time for this division series. And that makes it a totally different lineup when they don't have Bo Bichette, one of the top hitters in baseball. Riding a couple long balls so far, though, to this 2-0 lead. You go back to early July, Blue Jays swept a 4-game series here against the Yankees and scored 9 runs per game, and they did that without Bichette. In the air to right field for Judge. Shades his eyes from the sun pouring through the open roof. 2 out. Talking about that sweep back in early July, they averaged 9 runs per game in that series. This is why home field advantage is such a big deal. You talk about how good the Jays have been overall this year at home, and especially against the Yankees here.
Yeah, they have been really good. And based on the way the Jays rotation is, this game 1 is so much more important to them than it is to the Yankees. Unfortunately, some injuries have knocked out some pretty good pitchers.
Ernie Clement with 2 away. It sounds like it's going to be the 22-year-old Trey Savage tomorrow, who started all of 3 major league games. And the decision being partially to have Bieber, the veteran, go at Yankee Stadium, so you get the kid getting to start in front of his home crowd. But Chris Bassett unavailable for the division series, still dealing with that back issue. Scherzer not on the roster. If it were to get to a game 4, you're looking at a bullpen game. This is the one where you have the advantage. 0-2 on Ernie Clement. Hill delivers.
Come on. There's the first good breaking ball he's thrown. You've seen the catcher just give him a little nod there with 2 strikes. That ball had tilt and break. He hasn't thrown one of these yet. And this pitch right here, he stayed behind it. Now, when you're trying to throw a breaking ball and you throw as hard as he does, and if you get on the side of the baseball, all it's going to do is spin and not spin in the right direction.
Got your glove?
I'll tell you what, I didn't think we'd get one up here, but there's 2. I'll be ready.
Enjoying your time in Toronto so far?
So far. It's been great.
Yeah, right? Beautiful weather. What an environment. Another 1-2 pitch from Hill. Clement reaches out, gets his bat on it into right center field where Grisham makes the call. And then the catch to finish off this inning. Alejandro Kirk. They love him here in Toronto. If he does that throughout this month, they're going to love him around baseball. Guerrero and Kirk both with home runs for the Blue Jays. 2-0 as we go to the top of the 3rd, and Anthony Volpe leads off for the Yankees. Now Volpe homered against Garrett Crochet for the Yankees. Lone run against him in game 1 of the wild card round. He knocked in another run in game 3, and here he is doing it again, John. A .220 career hitter in the regular season, .300 in the postseason.
Well, this guy's going to still be a great player for the Yankees. I know a lot of talk this season.
Drives this ball in the air to deep right center field. Varsho steps onto the edge of the track. He's got it. Opening day of the division series continues tonight, 6:30 Eastern on TBS. Heavyweight fight, Dodgers and Phillies, game 1. Ohtani's postseason pitching debut. And then in the American League, Tigers and Mariners on FS1 at 8 Eastern.
What a follow-up on Volpe in the 8th spot. This part of the lineup is so important for the Yankees because it creates traffic for Judge. And if Judge doesn't have traffic, he's not going to get pitched to, especially by the Toronto Blue Jays.
1 gone for Austin Wells. The 9-hitter grounds it to second. Routine for Clement.
Again, right in this is the perfect recipe for Gausman. Get the lead, throw enough strikes early, get a team aggressive, get some quick pitch outs. And that man right there is going to benefit from his starter going 7-8 innings, which has been a theme, by the way, in the postseason of success for teams that have had deep starting starters that pitch deeper in the game.
Trent Grisham, second look at Gausman here for the Yankees, millionth look this year. And he swings at the first pitch, pops it up over third. Barger. 9 out of 10 first pitch strikes for Kevin Gausman, who needs 4 pitches total to retire the side in the 3rd. It'll be George Springer with the top of the order for the Blue Jays, leading 2-0 when you come back.
Back here at Rogers Center with Blue Jays manager John Schneider. John, you said yesterday you wanted Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to play free. What have you seen so far?
So far, so good. You know, Vladdy is such a big part of our franchise, obviously. And I'm excited for him to be in this position. You know, great first AB, great play there to double up Jazz at first. He's got a pretty good vibe about him right now.
Alejandro Kirk, for people who might not be familiar with him, what does he mean to your club?
Man, Kirky's just a quiet leader. You know, what he does behind the plate, you know, recently at the plate, obviously. He's had such a good rebound year. Just a lovable guy. And I think that he's really kind of come into his own this year in terms of his leadership, controlling the pitching staff. He's been really great.
Finally, Kevin Gausman, what have you liked most so far?
I think just pounding the zone. You know, they came out swinging really aggressive early in the count. Splits carrying the zone to kind of keep them honest. And then right there, a quick 3rd inning, just locating his fastball. So when he's doing that kind of top and bottom of the zone, he's damn good.
John, thanks very much. Joe, back to you.
Thanks, Ken.
All right, guys. George Springer leads off this third for the Blue Jays behind Heel 1 and 2. And when John Schneider talks about Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the person, and feeling like he's got a pulse on how he's going to be, he knows as well as anybody in this organization. He was his minor league manager when Guerrero arrived in the organization. In the air to center field for Trent Grisham. And the first out of the third. 24 years in the organization for John Schneider. He started out as a player. He was a catcher that reached as high as AAA. But when it became clear that he wasn't going to be a big league player, he started thinking about coaching and dove into that. Coached and managed in the minors for a decade. Came up to the big leagues as the catching instructor in 2019. And has been the manager the last 3+ years, taking over in an interim role in 2022. And the full-time gig in 23. Nathan Lucas here with one away, takes downstairs. Lucas swings and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, whatever they told Mr. Heel, he has come out and made some adjustments early on. Made some great pitches to Springer. He's made some low, good fastballs here away, which is how you got to get him out.
In the left center field, Grisham and Bellinger. It is Bellinger. 2 out. And it brings up Vlad Jr. Time for our player profile, sponsored by Liberty Mutual. Homers in his first at-bat of the postseason. And then makes a play defensively.
Yeah, they threw a pitch after this defensive play you see right there. They threw a pitch in his nitro zone. That's why I was surprised by the changeup. That changeup faded back over the middle part of the plate. He owns that part of the plate against right-handed pitchers. That's where you got to go, and you got to stay there and give up the single. If that's where he likes to hit the ball the other way. Takes away from that power.
Down 0-2 here. And yeah, Heel does look like a different guy.
Yeah, totally different. Whatever they unlocked, and sometimes it takes a pitcher a minute, right? Gets in the postseason, on the road, raucous crowd. You just get out of your mechanics a little bit.
Looking for his first clean inning of the day. Home with an 0-2. It is a slider that Guerrero takes. Ball 1.
Clean innings, 1, 2, 3s don't come a lot at a high percentage with Heel, but he would take one right here.
Guerrero serves a base hit the other way, showing off all the dimensions of his game. The power in the first at bat. The opposite field base hit here.
Let's see, that's what you got to get. A great player. That's what you got to give up. And that's why he's such a unique star in our game. He has the ability to hit for average and power. Much like his dad, he never saw a pitch he didn't like, and that one, you got to go with it. If you try to pull that one, you're out.
What was that like facing his dad? I know you have pretty good numbers against him, but the guy could hit everything.
Yeah, he could hit a ball that bounced.
Going to have a pitching change here after the base hit from Guerrero. Heel is finished with 2 out in the third. Welcome back to the 2025 American League Division Series on Fox, presented by Booking.com here at the Rogers Center in Toronto. They have chased Luis Heel 2 2/3. He gives up the 2 solo home runs and hands it off to the bullpen very early in this game. The Yankees not having the same luxury they had in the wild card round, where they had deep starts in all 3 games. Tim Hill takes over and delivers a strike to Addison Barger.
Well, Tim Hill, you see the unorthodox low 3/4 sidearm, tough on lefties, sinking action, get right-handers out as well. Here's the deal about the Toronto Blue Jays that a lot of people are going to get to realize, just like the Milwaukee Brewers. In this day and age of homers and swing and miss, these are the opposite 2 teams. They put the ball in play. It's hard to strike them out. You're going to have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves more than likely.
Its offense went from 23rd in the major leagues last year to 4th in the bottom line in runs scored. That's put in play, and it's going to be an infield hit for Barger. There's a perfect example They just do not strike out. Barger puts it in play and has an infield hit.
I'm telling you, in this world of exit velocity and the sexiness behind it, I get all that. You can cherry pick that stat all you want. But in the postseason, if you put pressure on the team by putting the ball in play, postseason baseball is different than regular season. And guess what you can't do? You can't just flip a switch and all of a sudden put the ball in play. You are what you are. And that's why the Blue Jays not only had a successful campaign, are going to be tough if they continue to do that.
Well, the real game changers when you do that, but then you pair it with the ability to hit it out. And they hit it out already twice today. Their hitting coach, David Popkins. They weren't at the very top of the home run leaderboard, but enough power when you look at all the other things they do. Speaking of that power, here's Kirk. Kirk struggled for a lot of September, and then game 162 with the Blue Jays needing to win to hold on to the division. It's a grand slam and a two-run home run. Right on brand with who he's been, whatever they've needed throughout his time in Toronto. 2 on and 2 out. Kirk takes on.
Well, the biggest thing that they do well, too, is they're aggressive. So you would think aggressive team at the plate would have a lot of swing and miss and wouldn't put the ball in play. It's the opposite. They are aggressive early, don't take many pitches, put them in play.
1 and 2. This is a guy right here that epitomizes what we're talking about across this lineup as well as anybody. Things he does have kind of become the team's MO. 280 hitter this year, one of the lowest strikeout rates in baseball. And as when the Blue Jays leaned into that identity as a team that they really took off from late May forward. On a 1-2, Kirk takes high. This team is still below 500 2 months into the year, coming off the last place finish last year.
And the one thing he will do against left-handers is he's not just pull-oriented. He will go the other way.
Another bouncer left side. McMahon takes his time and throws him out. So Hill comes on for heel and finishes the inning. It'll be Aaron Judge to lead off the 4th for the Yankees. Judge leads off the 4th.
With a lot of first pitch success, if I'm Gausman, I'm not throwing first pitch fastball here. This is what Judge loves on the first pitch attack and with power.
Yankees have all been aggressive so far today against Gausman. Oh, baby, it was a fastball. Wow. On the knuckles, and it's been a couple things guys have done against him in the postseason, right? It's breaking pitches down and away, and it's those fastballs up and in.
Well, I said I wouldn't throw a fastball, but he threw it in the perfect spot, and he's been throwing a lot of fastballs in a perfect spot, and that's 5 pitches and 4 outs with a 2-run lead. This is perfectly executed, but that's the matchup and the scenario that Judge normally wins this battle.
Bellinger. Yeah, the Yankees on the season are one of the most patient teams in baseball. Just to make a point here, I'm going to use the numbers. I don't normally like to use these exact numbers, but 45% of the pitches they swing at on the year. Today, 68%, which would be a season high.
Yeah, and it's because of the respect that he has for that pitch right there. They have not. Now, it works one of 2 ways. There could have been a lot of early action, which changes the pitch selection of Gausman. But if you get early outs, it doesn't change the pitch selection. He has a 2-run lead, which is not huge. But when you're making pitches with your fastball and spotting them, that's the key. Spotting your fastball will always get hitters out, 100%. It's the mistakes that today's style of hitting crushes. They crush mistakes.
Bellinger, the first guy to go up there with a patient approach, has had 3-0. Strike 1. Kevin Gausman in his 4th year with the Blue Jays. 13th year in the big leagues. Former first-round pick of the Orioles. He made it to the majors a year after he was drafted. Bellinger's view on his 3-1 pitch. It's a roll to the first. It's an easy one for Guerrero. 2 up and 2 down in the 4th. Make your voice heard. You can vote now to select the 2025 All-MLB team presented by MGM Rewards. Your chance to be part of history and honor this season's top performers. Terms and conditions apply. Go to MLB.com/AllMLB for details. 6 years in Baltimore after they drafted him, and he was right at league average. Then he goes to Atlanta, Cincinnati, doesn't have much success either of those places. Becomes an all-star with the Giants, earns this big contract that he's got with the Blue Jays. He is their guy. Game 1 of the division series. That splitter, career-making pitch. It's strike 1 on Ben Rice.
And what that splitter does is just equalizes the left-handers that they put in the lineup. You know, that is a pitch that some lefties just cannot see out of the hand of a pitcher, and so far he is not seeing it.
And there are 6 left-handed hitters for the Yankees today. Lefties on the year hitting 193 against Gausman.
I mean, this is a video that you want to look over and over again. The way he has pitched Ben Rice. Ben Rice has virtually had nothing to hit. I know it's only his second at bat, but I told you about his 53 pitch inning. He doesn't even have 50. He's got 40 in 4 innings.
The 1-2. 4 scoreless innings for Kevin Gausman.
Back here at Rogers Center with Yankees manager Aaron Boone. Yankee Luis Gil, what made you decide to lift him when you did?
Yeah, I just felt like a lot of good swings were starting to happen. We're coming to a tough part of the order where I like, Timmy Hill through that to try and just hold it down, keep it where it is. Never an easy call, especially with a guy, as talented as Louis. Certainly could have been capable of going through there, but one you got to make.
Kevin Gausman, very tough so far. How do you solve him?
Yeah, I feel like we've gotten a handful of good swings off and made some good contact against him. But, he's attacking the zone. He's using, the fastball and the splitter and even the slider, staying a little bit unpredictable enough anyway. But, hopefully we can stay after him and catch him.
Aaron, thanks a lot. Joe, back to you.
All right, Kenny. Kevin Gausman against the hottest team in baseball. 4 scoreless innings. And a game that the Blue Jays really feel like they got to win. The one matchup where it's going to favor them when you're looking at the starting pitching. It's Dalton Varsho leading off this 4th. Lefty against Hill. Ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Varsho came over from the Arizona Diamondbacks a couple years ago. Elite center field defense. He's won a Gold Glove out there and home run power like never before this year. Serves this one to left field for Cody Bellinger. And the first out of the 4th.
I've always said postseason baseball, if you're on the mound or your manager, you want stressless outs. Like, you don't want stress. And so far, you couldn't pick a better start for Kevin Gausman. He has had no stress. And, I mean, you feel fresh as you can be right now. And typically, every postseason inning feels like 2.5 innings because there's so much more attention to detail and obviously so much more adrenaline.
Yeah, that 1 inning there, that was 4 pitches long. That's like it's getting rid of a whole inning. Here's Santander ripping a ball down the line, foul. The Blue Jays, we talk about offensively, #1 in average, #1 in on-base percentage. The defense is really good. The question for the Jays is, do they have enough pitching? They have the worst ERA of the playoff teams. The guy they trust most is doing it so far today. Santander missed extra bases by just a couple feet. That's the big question for the Blue Jays. Big question for the Yankees. The back end of the bullpen. Starting pitching has been remarkable lately outside of today with Hill. The offense, #1 in baseball. Do they have enough in the bullpen? They're going to have to tap into just about everybody to get through this game.
That's outside.
Tim Hill was freed from the Chicago White Sox last year. Camilo Doval gets loose.
Outside.
Dropped down, missed away, ball 2. Santander, the longtime Oriole, is
Inside.
ahead 3-1. 30 years old, out of Venezuela. Some really low years in Baltimore, but he got to come out on the other side of it, getting through his own injuries, being part of their return to the postseason a couple years back. And a 5-year contract here in Toronto. Didn't do a whole lot in the regular season. Fresh chance for him here. On a 3-1 from Tim Hill, Santander takes strike 2. Call there on the sinker.
This is way above the league team average of pitchers per at plate, per at bat.
Sky high to center field, and Grisham casually puts it away. 2 gone in the 4th. Play the Fox Super 6 MLB Playoff Challenge. Download the Fox Sports app right now and enter for free for a shot to win your share of $10,000 in cash prizes. See the Fox Sports app for details.
So the stress that the Blue Jays provide for the other team is when they get runners on, they're really good. And their average and ability to put the ball in play, you almost feel like the Yankees need something flukish to happen to get them going. They do rely on the home run, but as you mentioned, it's not just the home run that gets it done for them. They just haven't had any action at all other than a single by Aaron Judge.
The whole thing doused by Gausman so far. Jimenez here with the bases empty and 2 away. Tim Hill trying to do something Luis Hill couldn't, and that is get that clean, stress-free inning you're talking about. You look up Funky Lefty encyclopedia, got a picture of old Tim. Chopper, Chisholm, and there's that clean inning. On to the 5th we go in game 1.
Don't want to miss a postseason game? Just tell Siri. Show me the upcoming MLB schedule.
Well, we can tell you got Phillies Dodgers tonight on TBS. Mariners Tigers on FS1 as Giancarlo Stanton starts the 5th for the Yankees against Kevin Gausman. And lifts the first pitch to right field. Yankees stay aggressive. Nathan Lucas, 1 pitch, 1 out, said that a few times today for Gausman. It's time for a game break. Hello, Kevin Burkhardt.
What's up, Joe? The Brewers boat raced the Cubs today. They put 9 runs up in the first 2 innings. Here's Jackson Churio. He went 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Brewers win 9-3, take a 1-0 lead. Bad news is, though, Churio had to leave that game with a hamstring injury, so questions about their young star left fielder. Joe, John.
All right, Kevin, yeah, Churio had 3 hits over the first 3 innings of that game. They had 9 runs already, 3 innings into the game. Chisholm takes low. Really, the Brewers are like the National League's Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes.
Or vice versa.
Absolutely. I mean, the Brewers are doing, I mean, they've shocked everybody with what they've done this year.
Nasty. I mean, these last 2 pitches, that's who Kevin Gausman is.
That's right. Look, I mean, again, we could probably find a way to show you every pitch, which is hard to do, but none of them were down the middle. I mean, he has spotted his fastball. First pitch out. Splitter is dangerous.
Digs this one out down the line. Lucas makes the play. And the Blue Jays are taking all the things that made them a 94-win team and putting them on display here in the first game of the postseason.
Just wonder if the Yankees can get something to drop if it changes that momentum for them. But right now, everything is clicking for that guy and his team. Not that the Yankees are on their heels, but they're going up to the plate going, we don't get many pitches to hit. And that's usually the opposite. They draw all kinds of pitches to hit because of their patience.
Ryan McMahon takes a strike. Do you disagree, agree, the approach today way more aggressive than they normally are?
I kind of agree. They just aren't executing. They're swinging at pitchers' pitches. So it's different if you're aggressive, but kind of, they call it a coffee can. You know, you just want to stay in the coffee can.
Selectively aggressive.
Yeah, like that pitch right there. Let's say you're aggressive. You go to hit that pitch. It's an out. And so credit Gausman right now for making all the pitches against a really good offensive team and staying away from the middle of the plate. One mistake he made to Chisholm on that base hit in his first at bat.
Has not given up a hit since. 9 in a row retired.
That's outside.
Whenever a pitcher looks comfortable, it's not a great sign for a hitter. The hitter and the pitcher, when they stand in the box and on the mound, somebody knows they have the advantage. Right now, Gausman knows he has the advantage over the Yankees.
Hardly broken a sweat today.
And when it's the opposite and you're on the mound, you got to fake it. And it's a learned trait because it's not easy, especially this time. There's nowhere to hide at this time. Any hitter that gets super aggressive in the postseason, advantage pitcher. Any pitcher that gets too rattled or gets out of his command, advantage hitter.
Dugout, center field. Varsho makes a sliding play of his own. A couple tremendous defensive plays in this inning for the Blue Jays. First and right, it was Lucas. And then in center, it was Varsho. The Jays, one of the top defensive teams in baseball this year, and their ace, the beneficiary today. These games for the division series sold out in under 30 minutes here at the Rogers Center as we get the call to the bullpen, sponsored by AT&T. Camilo Doval comes on to pitch for the Yankees. It has been all Blue Jays here in Game 1. Solo home runs from Vlad Jr. and Alejandro Kirk, and 5 scoreless innings from Kevin Gausman. Doval takes over as 9-1 and 2 come up.
Well, a lot of these moves the Yankees made didn't work right away, and they're trying to get this guy going. He was lights out in San Francisco. And you saw 99 miles an hour. He got a good slider.
Ernie Clement leading off for the Blue Jays, wrapping one on the ground to a drawn-in McMahon for the first out. Time for our home team profile, sponsored by Wayfair. We've touched on this a little bit, but the Blue Jays, after finishing in last place last year, it looked like more of the same this year. They were below 500. They were 8 games out near the end of May, but the best record in the American League since. The best team in the American League at home at 54-27 this year, and as John Schneider told us, it's when they leaned into that identity of being a bat-to-ball team, an on-base team, and the next part of that was, hey, if we're going to be more station to station, yeah, we'll have pop, but if we're going to be more station to station and on base, we also got to run the bases better, because they were terrible at that last year. And the guy at the plate right here, a leader in so many ways, has led that charge as well as their best base runner. That's George Springer, who on an 0-1 from Doval jumps out of the way. Springer's 36 years old. He's in his 12th year in the major leagues. It looked like he was just headed for the lower part of his career, that he had seen his best days. He bottomed out at 220 last year, but the most improved hitter in baseball.
Ball 2.
The top of the leaderboard, John, for OPS, on base plus slugging, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, George Springer.
Yeah, he's dominating right-handed pitchers. I mean, he has just had a field day against right-handed pitchers, staying on the ball, controlling the strike zone. And when you see majority of right-handed pitchers, you know you're going to have a good year when that success rate's there. That's the one hole inside. That ball is supposed to break. As a right-handed hitter, when it backs up, it locks you up. A breaking ball that does not break. Look at how it spins backwards. And it's always going to lock you up. Too bad you can't perfect that as a pitcher.
On 2-2, Springer rolls it to short for Volpe. 2 up and 2 down here for Doval. Started to pitch a lot better towards the end of the regular season. 6 straight scoreless outings for him. Didn't pitch in the wild card round. Again deployed here, trying to keep this tight. Here's Lucas. Couple good defensive plays in this game.
This game has been played crisply, no jitters. Like, this is the 2 teams that you would expect this kind of game in this kind of series. They tied at the end of the year, and that tiebreaker went, of course, to the Blue Jays. And down the stretch, they were really good, both of them.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, because it's not like your neck-and-neck race. It was a roller coaster. You had the Yankees out ahead by 8 games in May, like we just touched on. And then the Blue Jays led by as many as 5 with 2 weeks left in the season.
Yeah. No, this has been the streakiest year in all of baseball that I can remember across the board.
Volpe. And 3 ground ball outs for Camilo Doval. An encouraging postseason debut for the Yankees. Take a look at StatCast, powered by Google Cloud, the way Kevin Gausman's gotten his outs today.
Perfect blend. That's what's making him so tough. And look, I reiterate again, this bottom part of the lineup has to get on base for Judge. Otherwise, the Yankees are going to have a hard time mounting any kind of rally against Gausman.
Steve under Anthony Volpe taking a strike. Gausman has retired 10 in a row. Yankees got a single from Judge in the first inning, a single from Chisholm in the second. That is it. And it's been a lot of aggressive approaches, a lot of quick outs. In fact, 5 first pitch outs for Gausman. Taking this pressure cooker of the postseason and making it. This is as low stress as I remember seeing in the postseason.
No, this is. I can easily say, of all the games I've watched and done here now as a broadcaster, this is the greatest execution early on to a first start in a postseason I've ever seen. Wow. Like I just can't think of 1 or 2 mistakes. It hasn't cost him. He's getting the leadoff hitter out. He's not afraid to throw strikes with his fastball. He's going in, out, up, down, and then here comes the splitter. And that's why he's keeping the Yankees scoreless.
Home with an 0-2 to Volpe. He lifts that one up to left field. Back goes Santander to the wall, and it's off the wall. That thing kept on carrying, and Volpe's into second with a leadoff double. That pitch left up with 2 strikes, and Volpe just misses getting it out of here.
Now he went with that rarely thrown slider, and it was flat. And this is what I thought that the Yankees need. They got to get a leadoff hitter on. They got to create some kind of stress. See how the ball's spinning and doesn't break. And that's not right on cue. He's been absolutely perfect until that pitch, and now a leadoff double, and at least turns the lineup over. That gives Judge an opportunity to hit. With this series being totally dependent about how many guys get on base when Judge is up.
Tying run at the plate in the form of Wells, who cranks a line drive base hit to right. Had to be sure that it would fall, and so Volpe just takes third. But the Yankees, after getting just 2 hits over the first 5 innings, none over the last 3, have back-to-back hits from the bottom of the order in the 6th.
And what happens is when you get a runner on to lead off the inning, you're pitching out of the stretch, timings change, and then pitches change. So the hitters are momentum type offense, right? When they see somebody break through or they see an opportunity, it creates a little bit of momentum. And now this was just a safe move to make sure he didn't get double off. Now you've got first and third inning. Unless some miracle triple play, you're guaranteed to see Aaron Judge with some runners on.
We get a word from Pete Walker, and we get a word from Capital One.
With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn all of your purchases into extraordinary trips. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Trent Grisham, the guy at the plate here, who has come out of the middle of nowhere to have a big year. Came over in the same deal that brought him Juan Soto. He hardly played last year, hit a .190 as the bullpen gets going with Mason Fluharty. As Soto goes to the Mets, it's part of the reason Grisham's gotten the opportunity that he's gotten, and he has doubled his previous career high in home runs. He's hit 34.
It's incredible. It's incredible the transformation in a couple years to what Trent Grisham has meant to the New York Yankees.
Best chance for the Yankees today. Tying run aboard, go ahead run at the plate. Grisham takes the ball.
And you know, when they didn't re-sign Soto, that opportunity opened up for Grisham to play every single day. It tightened up their defense. And certainly you can see the production right there is self-evident of why the Yankees are still a lethal offense.
Trying to string it together here the way they did in Boston, or against Boston, to finish off the wild card round. Did it without the power. Did it with a bunch of singles. And over the last month of the regular season, the Yankees hit .290 with runners in scoring position. This is not the team, even though the narrative still seems to exist, that has to hit home runs to win. Double from Volpe, single from Wells. 2-0 on Trent Grisham. Here it comes. Ball 3 with Judge waiting on deck.
Well, with Aaron Judge, we're going to show you why it's so important to get runners on. When the runners are on, they have to respect and not walk him as much, right? Multiple runners, one runner on, he gets walked a lot. So if he happens to get the bases loaded, there's obviously no room to put anybody else.
Got the call, 3-1. First stress of this game for Gausman. Grisham is always cool and calm, is up there waiting on this 3-1 pitch. Fouls it off, and it's 3-2.
You know, when you see Grisham in the batter's box, he's flat. His back foot is all the way legally to the end of that batter's box. And hitters are used to being in the same spot. It gives them a little more length against the fastball, but against the splitter, it is getting the pitch at the worst part for a hitter. So when you're that far back, you're going to have to really recognize a mistake.
That's out, ball 4.
Ball 4 to load the bases for Aaron Judge. And a potential pivot point in this game and in this series right here. Double-barreled action in the bullpen now as Varland joins Fluharty. 2-0 Blue Jays. Judge comes up, nowhere to put it.
All that freedom that he had with nobody on, you're fearless with your fastball. Now you can't be as fearless. You have to tell yourself, I'm going to make a great pitch here, get a ground ball double play or something. But now the stress goes through the roof when you're facing a guy like Aaron Judge with the bases loaded.
1 for 2 with a single today. 5 hits in the postseason, all of them singles. One of the greatest home run hitters of all time at the plate. Takes a fastball for a strike.
Just a perfect pitch right there. But when Aaron Judge has become very comfortable hitting with 2 strikes, hitting his pitch, laying off the pitch that used to get him out all the time.
On an 0-1, Judge takes in the dirt. What a stop by Kirk. One of the many ways he's valuable for this team.
Well, Aaron Judge would love to get a hit, but at this point in the game, he has to make contact somewhere to drive in a run. And they'll take a fly ball. But getting a run in right now, imperative. You don't pass the baton to anybody else.
Here comes Judge, takes low. He's ahead 2-1. The 4th 50 home run season for him. The batting champ as well. .331 average. On a 2-1 from Gausman. Judge swings and misses. He's ahead of a splitter, and it's 2-2. Just wide of third. He's only thrown 3 sliders on the day. Does a good one of those get him here?
I haven't seen the ones that he doesn't have the feel for the one that turns the corner. So that high splitter right there was not intended to be in that spot. He got away with it. I don't think he will throw the slider to Judge.
Another 2-2. It is a splitter, and Judge watches it calmly. The count is full. Sliders are the ones that have given Judge such a hard time through the years, and Gausman not really possessing that today. Bases loaded, nobody out. 3-2 on Aaron Judge. Fouls it off.
I mean, that's just a perfect pitch with no room for error. That leaks over the middle of the plate, and it's a 4 spot. I mean, he tied him up with a fastball 3-2. You just can't do any better than that. But the great hitter that Aaron Judge is, he spoils it, and that's what's frustrating for pitchers, especially when you've thrown a bunch of pitches in this inning.
The 8th pitch. He tries strike 3.
That previous pitch set up this aggressive. His hips are open. He's got nothing to get to the barrel of the bat. He was committed way too soon. And obviously a ball 4. But you can't, in the moment when you're trying to make something happen, say at home that it was easily takeable.
Yeah.
It's just the stress in the postseason. That's what happens.
And it has snowballed on him through the years. Facing, of course, great pitching this time of year. Inside on Cody Bellinger, but the chase has gone up. The strikeouts have gone way up. And in a key spot here, it's a strikeout to Judge.
Now, the one thing I noticed in the last 2 hitters, he's pulling the split. When you pull the split, it doesn't have the right action. It starts moving the wrong way.
The 1-0 to Bellinger is down and away, ball 2.
So now if you're a hitter here and Bellinger's just, he's got to keyhole 1. If he sees fastball, it has to be, you can't just swing. It has to be in the only spot you want it to swing and drive the ball right here on a 2-0 count.
Cody Bellinger is ahead 3-0.
That is great discipline, because if he was super aggressive and he was looking to just do damage, you swing at that pitch, and that's why you throw it. If you're Gausman, you're thinking, I got him, got to think he's aggressive.
Tying run at second, go ahead run at first. 3-0 pitch.
Ball 4.
Low for ball 4, and the Yankees are on the board with a bases loaded walk from Cody Bellinger. He has been the one guy who has looked calm and patient for the Yankees today.
You just wonder if the count were different and he was pounding a strike in that area, put pressure on the umpire. It was a ball, but he would have put pressure on the hitter to swing at it too. So now the hitter who's had virtually no chance against. I wonder if Rice can even think about sitting on a split finger. And you wouldn't tell most hitters to say you can't do that. You got to think fastball and react. Well, the splitter has given him nothing but trouble on 2 strikeouts.
Well, there's a guy that there'd be to do that against. It is Gausman, who throws it more than anybody. It was a splitter, and he went after it and still couldn't get it.
Yeah, I'm surprised a little bit by that after a 4-pitch walk.
Wells at third, the tying run. Grisham the go-ahead run at second, Bellinger at first. The 0-1, Rice takes in the dirt.
And see, that's the 4th one now. The 4th splitter that he is pulling. So if Rice has a chance, because the split goes away from left-handers, when you see it start turning towards the left-handed hitter, that's not what Gausman wants.
Here's 1-1. Popped up. As good as a strikeout for Kevin Gausman. Infield fly rule in effect. Barger's got it 2 away. That's going to do it for Kevin Gausman. Of course, so much pressure on the managers this time of year. We've already seen it in the wild card round. That sensitive spot of when you make the move. When you go to the bullpen. Number 2 gone here in the 6th. John Schneider goes to the pen with the bases loaded and 2 out. The right-hander comes on for Giancarlo Stanton in a 2-1 game. Giancarlo Stanton, who has 4 home runs in his career against Kevin Gausman, comes to the plate. Gausman finished. He faced 1 more than the minimum through 5. Runs into trouble here in the 6th. It's Lewis Varland on to face Giancarlo Stanton. He's taken him deep as well in his career, and he takes ball 1.
Well, knuckle curveball you saw right there. A fastball, a sinker, and a slider.
Tying run at third. 1 ball, 1 strike. Curve's been the best pitch for Varland, who they got at the deadline from Minnesota. The bullpen took shape on the fly for the Jays this year. Really good down the stretch. Stanton on 1-1. Fouls it back, strike 2. 100 from Varland. Kevin Gausman. Middle six in game one. 2-1. Well, the Yankees get on the board, but a missed opportunity right there. They were one of the best teams in baseball this year, getting guys in from third with less than 2 outs. And they had Judge up there, bases loaded, nobody out. He struck out. Bases loaded, 1 out for Rice. He popped out. And then Stanton strikes out to end the inning, and they get just the 1. Well, June leads off, takes the ball from Duvall. Duvall worked the 1-2-3 fifth inning, back out there for his second inning of work. He's very well rested. Hasn't pitched since the last weekend of the regular season. Guerrero 2 for 2 in his first game of the post.
Remember we said how important contact is in the postseason and when, right? And that inning, typically during the regular season, bases loaded, nobody out, and Judge is up. I'd hate to think what the statistics would bear on that on average.
That's inside.
That more than 1 run is going to come out of that more than often.
Yeah, run expectancy. You can find all those charts and cross-reference situations, but bases loaded, nobody out, Judge up. That's looking like a big inning more often than not. Duvall home with the 2-1. Guerrero swings and misses. 96 cutter looks good. Duvall's gone 2 innings only once this year. This at the Giants in early July before they traded him to the Yankees. But on a day like this where they only get 2+ from their starter, Aaron Boone will extract everything he can out of him. They do have Luke Weaver ready. 3, 4, and 5 coming up here. I wonder if Weaver would be for the next hitter, the left-handed batting Barger. That's a high fly ball to left field, but got under it and got it off the end of the bat, and so it's easy for Bellinger. Yeah, the first out of the 6 as they get Vlad for the first time today. Pitcher profile sponsored by Wendy's. Kevin Gausman gets Judge to go after that one. And then Lewis Varland up to 101 to strike out Stanton. You don't think the postseason environment can get into your blood? How about Varland, who averaged 93, 94 as a starter in recent years? Touching 101 there. That ball scrapes the sky as it flies out to left center field, but Barger's retired. 2 gone in the 6th.
Well, that was a big momentum inning for the Blue Jays, and usually sometimes the offense will respond and take advantage of it, but so far so good for Duvall. He's kept them at bay. And the Yankees are always dangerous when they're only 1 swing away from tying a game. But the Blue Jays bullpen, which I think if they do their part in this series, they have the best chance of winning this series. If they are flawless and shut down the Yankees.
Alejandro Kirk, look out. That's the slider that popped out of his hand. No ill intent. And it is going to be Varland to go back out there for the 7th inning. First big move for John Schneider works, by the way. He calls on his reliever with Gausman on the ropes there, and he gets out of it. Kirk 1 for 2 with a home run in this game. Left-handed batting Varsho's on deck. Weaver really good against left-handed hitters. And out there waiting for the call. It's 1-2 on Kirk. The 1-2. Smacked to first and caught by Rice. That's a scorcher down there, but that's 6 up and 6 down for Camilo Doval, keeping his Yankees in this game. Back here in Toronto, where they have been revved up today, waiting for their chance to watch their team in the postseason. Blue Jays today trying to win a game in the playoffs for the first time in 9 years. 3 consecutive wild card round sweeps. And the fans here think that they have a team to end the championship drought. Jazz Chisholm leads off and takes a strike from Lewis Varland. Chisholm 1 for 2. Singled in the second, lined out in the 5th. 31 home runs this year, just the third 30-30 season in Yankees history. Bobby Bonds, Alfonso Soriano, and now Jazz Chisholm. Even though he missed a month with an oblique injury, month plus with an oblique, and then didn't run for the first month that he came back from that as he was dealing with a groin, still racked up those numbers. Behind 1 and 2. Varland deals. Chisholm stays alive.
Nothing but off speed so far. You feel like this 100-mile-an-hour fastball's got to come into play right here. 1 and 2. He's got 2 great secondary pitches. Let's see what he goes with.
Fastball missed, and it's 2 and 2. Chisholm, McMahon, and Volpe. 6, 7, and 8 for the Yankees. They break through in the 6th, but leave the bases loaded. And now Chisholm to open the 7th. Chops one up the middle. That's short. It's Jimenez. It's the opening day of the division series, and it continues tonight, 6:30 Eastern on TBS. Dodgers and Phillies. And then Tigers Mariners on FS1 at 8 o'clock Eastern. We had a bunch of star franchises, star fan bases in the American League this year. Mariners trying to get to the World Series for the first time, trying to get to the Championship Series for the first time since the Yankees ended that record-setting 2001 season for them. McMahon. How about the Tigers, who best team in the world for half of the summer, and then saw a 15-game lead disappear, but survived the Guardians to advance.
Yeah, they sure did, and you can make the argument that they may have the single best left-handed pitcher in the game right now going for them. Boston could have made that argument if they would have gone on with Crochet, but
Eric Skubal, 14 Ks in his wild card start. That's a pretty good lefty right there, too. Max Fried will start game 2 for the Yankees tomorrow night when the series shifts in their favor, at least on paper, in the starting pitching matchups.
1-1.
You only said it earlier, say it again. This is a game 1 that, look, in a short series, game 1, you got to win it all the time. 75% of the time you do, you go on to win the series, but especially the way the pitching lines up, a game the Jays got to get. Man lays off, and it's 2 and 2. Man has had a couple good swings today on this 2-2. Chops it foul. From the Rockies at the deadline. He is one of the best defensive third basemen in the game, and you saw that the other day. Kind of earned his pinstripes going into the dugout against Boston. And there is some pop in there as well. Another 2-2. And a line drive base hit to right field. McMahon's first hit of the day has put the tying run aboard in the 7th. Time for Fox Foresight, powered by Google Cloud. 43% chance for the Yankees to score 2+ runs the rest of the game. Blue Jays, as bad as the back end of the pen was at times, have the fewest blown losses, or blown lead losses in the majors this year. Have not blown the lead since September 1st. That'll do it for Varland. Back into the pen they go with a tying run on here in the 7th. It was the Yankees that led the majors in home runs during the regular season, but it's the Blue Jays on a pair of solo shots with a 2-1 lead from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Alejandro Kirk. Sir Anthony Dominguez comes out of the bullpen to face Anthony Volpe. Dominguez was so good in the postseason for the Phillies a few years ago, traded for the second time at the deadline in as many years. The Orioles to the Jays. and he's in with a strike on Volpe.
Well, four-seam fastball, but he's got a really good breaking ball and splitter. Those are the two pitches where the league virtually hits nothing against. So if he can get ahead, those are his kill pitches.
Gave up 7 runs in his first 5 games with his new team, just 1 over his last 19. And again, we're talking about this Blue Jays bullpen that for a lot of the year was a problem, but they last blew a lead September 1st. There's the guy looming at the back end, the biggest question, and Hoffman. 2-1 on Volpe. But John, we're talking about this Yankees lineup. You got to set the table for the guys at the top. They've done that today.
Yeah.
4 of the 5 hits have come from the bottom of the order.
Yeah, they've done their part. And going to get a pinch runner.
Yeah, Caballero, a pinch run for McMahon. Interesting. So he goes in there mid-at-bat. The Major League stolen base leader, Jose Caballero, weapon picked up at the deadline for the Yankees. And what a time to do it, representing the tying run here. Surprised he didn't do that earlier, I guess. Now it goes to 2-1. Caballero comes in. Volpe swings and misses, 2-2. 49 stolen bases this year. Second time that he's led the majors. Dominguez fires and Volpe takes strike 3. Perfectly placed fastball.
Well, this is a perfectly placed fastball, and I anticipate some sort of stolen base in the first 2 pitches here. If you're thinking about getting aggressive and putting a runner in scoring position, he's next. Well, he's not ready to do it right now, but maybe after this pitch.
Caballero dancing over there, and they check on him. Caballero says, I try to make them hate me. Try to make the other team just hate me having to deal with me. Aaron Boone said, we did when you were on the other side playing for the Rays the last few years.
Well, they had trouble putting on his oven mitts because that's that's what they're using to slide with.
Swing and a miss by Wells. Splitter. Everybody's got one these days. Yankees catcher 1 for 2. It was a rough second season, but he's been at his best lately. 290 over the last month. Tying run at first, 2 gone in the 7th. There he goes. A bouncing ball to first and an easy one for Vlad Jr. 7th inning stretch in Toronto. Blue Jays up 2-1. Wear what the players are wearing on field during the postseason. Check out the largest selection of authentic jerseys, caps, t-shirts, and more at MLBshop.com for your favorite postseason team gear. Luke Weaver, the new pitcher for the Yankees. Dalton Varsho bats for the Blue Jays and takes ball 1. Weaver pitched in game 1 against Boston. He faced 3 hitters. They all reached base. Didn't retire a batter and took the loss in that game. And for Yankees bullpen, where it's a big question, Weaver's got to be good.
Yeah, Weaver, sneaky, just really good stuff, and run into a couple bad trends, but he was a big part of last year for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, he was their closer by the time they reached the postseason. Caballero, as you see, stays in the game and plays third. But it's 3-0 from Weaver. 12 runs, 10 innings from the start of September through the first game of the postseason. A green light and a foul ball. So far, so good for the Yankees bullpen today. Tim Hill, Camilo Doval, 3 1/3 scoreless innings after Luis Hill went just 2 2/3. On a 3-1, Varsho takes ball 4 and has a leadoff walk. Well, for the Blue Jays, getting to the postseason has not been the problem. They do it for the 4th time in 6 years, clinching the division and the top seed in the American League. But they've lost their last 7 postseason games, 3 consecutive wild card sweeps. They're trying to win a postseason game for the first time since 2016, and then they set their sights on winning it all. Back-to-back titles in 92 and 93. They hang championship banners in blue. The division title banners hang in white. Those are nice, but folks around here think that this team is special. They could add a 3rd blue one. Varsho at first for Santander. He's had a couple long at-bats today. Ball and a strike.
I was part of that 600 years ago, 1992 blue banner.
What was that like pitching here?
Man, it was. I loved it because obviously it's the dome. Conditions are perfect when you pitch.
Santander with a base hit to right field. Varsho heads for 3rd with Judge's throwing issues. They're going to push the envelope. Judge still dealing with that sore elbow. And there was no question Varsho is going to turn the corner and advance. Judge went on the injured list at the start of August with a sore elbow, and for the first month or so after coming back exclusively DH, but that log jams him. You can't have Stanton in the lineup if that's the case in a perfect scenario. So Judge, the best lineup, puts him back out there in right field, and they will deal with what they have to with his arm issue. Miles Straw into the game to pitch run at first, so we get a quick word from FanDuel.
Make baseball come alive when you bet live this season with FanDuel.
Fernando Cruz is ready, and Aaron Boone probably can't get to the 3-batter minimum fast enough here. Weaver's faced 5 hitters in the postseason. All 5 have reached. Andrés Jimenez. The pitch com issue. Well, tomorrow, Fox NFL doubleheader with Dak and the Cowboys taking on the Jets or another regional action. And then in America's Game of the Week, Justin Herbert and the Chargers take on the Commanders. Check your local listings for the games in your area, only on Fox. Jimenez, by the way, a decent bunter, and the Blue Jays bunt more than any team in baseball. They play a little small ball here, try to squeeze in a run. Although at this point, the idea of giving it out to Weaver doesn't sound like a great idea either.
You know, I've said it a million times when I was an active player sitting on the bench watching a lot of games, going a double play to second base gets us an extra run. And you don't want to think like that, but if you don't put it in play, you go from an inning where you can score a run to much like what the Yankees did, bases loaded, nobody out, only got 1, and that was on a bases loaded walk.
The Blue Jays, the best team in baseball, getting guys in from 3rd with less than 2 outs. Infield pulled in. Strike 1. Home run from Guerrero in the first. Home run from Kirk in the second. Nothing doing since. Toronto looking for insurance. Weaver looking for an out. Is 0-1. Getting the ground through. It's 3-1 Blue Jays as Andrés Jimenez drives in Dalton Varsho. Bottom of the order getting the job done for the Jays. And it's an instant replay for Luke Weaver. 3 hitters, they all reach. 3-1 Jays, still nobody out. Cruz comes into the game. Your team, your players, your postseason. Follow all the postseason action. Download the MLB app, the #1 app for live baseball. Fernando Cruz, who they could not get in there soon enough. Weaver just didn't have it again. Cruz has. We saw a great splitter from Kevin Gausman. Fernando Cruz also has one of the best splitters in baseball.
Yeah, fastball, sinker, slider, splitter.
It's Clement. 2 on, nobody out. And Cruz trying to get Clement to show his hand there, see if he's squaring. Top of the order into Springer on deck. Running the bank here, walking 2 singles against Weaver. He does square, and he bunts it back to Cruz. It will go to third in time, over to first. Not in time, but they get the lead runner.
That was a great job by Cruz. I mean, he pounced off the mound. What you're trying to do as a hitter, you want to bunt it to the third base line. It's indefensible. The runners will get over, but the high pitch allowed him to bunt it more towards the pitcher. And you work on this play 100 times in spring training, but when it's in the postseason, it ain't spring training.
And you also wonder about Cruz, who goes 1,000,000 miles an hour at all times on that play, but does a good job of harnessing it. Getting it over to Caballero. Top of the order, and Springer is hitless here in game 1. Got a chase on that splitter. The #1 swing and miss pitch in the sport this year. Fernando Cruz, a 35-year-old from Puerto Rico. Didn't get to the major leagues until he was 32. Drafted as an infielder.
And that may be why, if he gets out of this jam, you'll see why. Pretty excitable.
Yeah.
Some say emotional.
Let's go over 1-1 to Springer. That's ball 2. Kansas City drafted him. He had a few seasons there as the infielder, could not hit, and so they converted him to pitcher. Had a brief stint in the Cubs organization, but then was away from baseball, at least affiliated baseball, for 2 years. Went to Indie Ball. Said, I'm going to give it one more shot. Went to Mexico to pitch, and that's where the Reds discovered him and gave him his first chance just 3 years ago. Here's his 2-1 pitch. Springer fouls it off, and they got a chunk of Wells. Ow. He gets it.
They do a great job firing this crowd up here.
Yeah. They don't need a whole lot, but
no, they do a good job.
40+ thousand sell out every post game of this division, or every home game of the division series, sold out in less than 30 minutes. 2-2 on Springer. Lays off, and the count goes full.
Well, one thing about Cruz is you can save your catcher's arm, because when he's done delivering a pitch, he comes over halfway to meet the pitcher, the catcher, to get the ball. Yeah. That's how into it he is.
Straw at second. Jimenez at second. Clement at first. The payoff pitch. Springer takes ball 4 to load him up. Yankees were unable to take full advantage of their bases loaded opportunity in the 6th inning. Let's see if the Blue Jays can capitalize on theirs. Nathan Lucas comes up.
He better be able to pound a fastball for a strike if he wants to get him to continue to chase on that split, because that split has not been close enough.
Bases loaded, 1 gone, 7th inning. First pitch, Lucas takes outside. And a team full of contact guys. This is the guy with the best contact rate right here. On a 1-0 pitch, takes ball 2. Nowhere to put Lucas, and Guerrero Jr.'s on deck.
Yeah, this is easily the pitch of the night right now for the Blue Jays to either put severe distance between them and the Yankees. And this is the put-away inning you want if you're the Blue Jays.
2-0. Ball 3. Strike.
Under the circumstances, this should be the best pitch he'll ever get to hit in the postseason right here.
It's a 3-1 from Cruz. Lucas swings, left swing to the right field corner. It's down. It bounces to the wall. This place explodes on a 2-run double from Lucas.
Well, he didn't miss it, and it was a cookie right there at the top of the zone. And that's what you've got to do to take advantage of the stress and the situation. Toronto showing why 5 runs, when they score 5 runs, they're virtually unbeatable, and why they're so good at home.
3 in the bank here in the 7th, still just 1 gone. Smelling something that's they've not had nearly a decade. Get their first postseason win since 2016. And now they're going to get greedy. Guerrero Jr. coming to the plate. Already 2 hits today, including a home run.
Typically, you wouldn't pitch to him in this situation with a base open, but down 5-1, they're going to choose to see if they can get a couple chase or a ground ball with the drawn-in infield.
Ball 1. The Yankees bullpen that gave up just 3 runs in the wild card round has given up 3 runs in the 7th inning. And it's 2 guys that they have to have perform for them, Weaver and Cruz.
That's outside.
Ball 2. Well, Guerrero Jr. set the tone today with a home run in the 1st inning. A diving play. All the questions swirling. Can Guerrero find it? Because he has really struggled the last month. And anytime they've been in the postseason, he has struggled.
Ball 3.
So far, so great. In his first game of this postseason chance.
Still don't understand why they're not putting him on. It's 3-0 count. Nothing good can happen here. But they're going to pitch to him.
Center cut fastball that he lofts to right center field. Grisham will make the catch. It'll bring in Springer and make it 6-1. Not only did did they not put him on intentionally. They didn't even try to stay away from him. That was right down the middle. There's that nearly unbeatable record you're talking about. 71-4 when they get 5 runs. That'll do it for Cruz. Paul Blackburn will come into the game. 6-1. The Blue Jays have exploded for 5 runs, or for 4 runs here in the 7th. Well, it's been all Blue Jays so far today. A couple of early home runs, and they've strung it together here in the 7th. 6-1 they lead. Joe Davis, John Smoltz, Ken Rosenthal. Game 1 in this best of 5. Paul Blackburn is on to pitch. Addison Barger takes a strike.
Yeah, the 2 opportunities each team had for a big inning. One did it. The Blue Jays did it. Erupt here. And the Yankees are going to look back at that bases loaded, nobody out in a 2-0 game.
Fly to right field. Got it off of the handle. Judge is back to put it away. Yeah, the Blue Jays do what the Yankees couldn't. They score 4 times in the 7th and a big lead to the 8th. Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, go to playball.org and follow @playball on social media. This is the big lefty. Brendan Little is really good down the stretch for the Blue Jays and is one of 4 left-handed relievers that they'll carry against this left-handed heavy Yankees lineup.
It's a recipe for success. Get the lead, turn it over to their bullpen, and isolate the left-handed hitters in the lineup for the Yankees.
Top of the Yankees order, Trent Grisham. Has walked today, but is 0 for 2. Couple defensive changes. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the former Yankee, also a former Blue Jay, born again as a Blue Jay, is into the game at second. Clement moves over to third, and Straw, after pinch running, stays in left for Santander. 1 ball, 1 strike on Grisham. The Yankees team that came back in the standings to finish in a tie. Won 13 of their last 15 games back to mid-September. Came back in the wild card round. They were the first team in the 4 years of that format to lose the first game and then come back to win the 3-game series. They're looking like they're going to have to do it again. They're going to have to be the comeback kids again. But the way the pitching is lined up, they got to like their chances to do that. From here on out, it's going to be nothing but those guys that we saw dominate the wild card round.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's not impossible to get short outings and win a playoff game, but it sure does help when your starter can go 6, right? You got Gausman get into the 6th. You look at all the success early in the postseason, it's been dominated by pitchers getting deep and cutting down the usage of the bullpen. Well, the Yankees didn't get that performance of length, and now they're going to rely on those 3 pitchers to do that moving forward.
2-2 to Grisham is grounded to short. Jimenez knocked it around last inning. Tosses over to first for the first out of the 8th. Hello, Ken.
Hello, Joe. One thing to keep in mind here as well. The Jays pitching is not set up so well going forward. Trey Savage tomorrow. Maybe he's Cam Schlittler from the other night, and maybe he's a rookie making his 4th start. We don't know. Then you have Shane Bieber in Game 3 at Yankee Stadium, and a likely bullpen game, possibly involving left-hander Eric Lauer for a good amount of time. But that's a lot of questionable things going on for a team that wants to go forward.
Aaron Judge here with the bases empty. I think the starting pitching edge for the Yankees is wider, is greater than is maybe being given credit, especially when you see the roster come out today and Bassett isn't in there.
Yeah.
So the next 2 games, you got a guy who's made 3 starts in the major leagues, and then a guy who's made 7 starts the last 2 years.
Yeah, but you still got to put yourself in position to create that stress, right? The Yankees have to be better if they get their scoring opportunities and cash in like they didn't do tonight.
Ball 2. There you go.
The Judge in his first big spot, bases loaded, nobody out in the 6th inning, struck out on what would have been ball 4. One last box for him to check. Big October-shaped box. The last 2 Octobers, 165 average, and he struck out more than 40% of the time. He told Chris Kirshner of The Athletic, he said, I don't think they'd name me the captain if they didn't think I could handle it. And he said, I want this burden. This comes with the territory. This is what I signed up for. Into center field he goes with a base hit. His second of the game. Cut off by Varsho. Judge turns the corner, heads for second. He's got a hustle double. His first extra base hit of the postseason.
And you're right about it. I mean, it can be very unfair on him, but he still needs that breakthrough moment. And as much as he, at times, is ready for all that comes along with it, the most unfair part of baseball is the postseason is the last impression. You know, the individual things, most players will tell you, I'm giving them up to win a championship. So he's not going to win a championship for the Yankees. But if he takes his walks and he does what he's capable of, the rest of the team is what's reason why the Yankees are so good. He by himself, that's too big a burden to carry.
Cody Bellinger, who knocked in the lone Yankees run with a bases loaded walk in that 6th inning. Got jammed. Little. 2 out. We were talking about who's coming for the Blue Jays. A much surer lineup for the Yankees coming in the starting pitching. Max Fried, what a season he's had. His first one of the big contract. Fried 19-5 with a 286 and then 6 1/3 scoreless innings in the wild card round. Rodon got overshadowed because of what bookended him, but he was good. And he's been great this season. And Cam Schlittler with one of the greatest performances in postseason history.
Also, I mean, he didn't look like he was sweating. He didn't look like he was nervous.
He looked like he'd done that 100 times.
He looked like a taller version of Jacob deGrom, just letting it eat and painting at the same time.
Now you may be sitting there rolling your eyes, best outing in postseason history. It was the first outing in postseason history, 8 scoreless innings, 12 strikeouts, no walks.
Yeah.
And with the season on the line, no less. For a kid who started the season in Double-A and was not throwing anywhere close to 101 even a year ago. Development story, success story in the Yankees system. 1-1 to Rice. Leaches out, flies it to center field. Varsho's going back onto the track. He's got it in front of the wall. To the bottom of the 8th we go. The Jays are 3 outs away from taking the first game of the division series. Today's telecast is sponsored by Google Cloud, the official AI partner of MLB. Catch the game like never before with Google Cloud AI. And by Strauss, the official workwear partner of Major League Baseball. Back in Toronto, where the Blue Jays got a pair of early home runs from Guerrero and Kirk, and then a 4-run 7th. On the verge of taking game 1. Paul Blackburn stays in, and Kirk leads off the 8th. 1-1. Takes outside for a ball. And so the two teams that had to figure out how to navigate the bye, which you're going to take 10 times out of 10.
Yep.
The Brewers and the Blue Jays looking like they're going to go 2-0 today. And with the offenses clicking. Because that is the thing you worry about most. Can your bats stay hot with that weak layup?
Well, the early going, the National League had the hardest time figuring it out, with the exception of the Dodgers. The American League had done pretty good as of recent memory, but it's part of those things that over time I always thought would work itself out, because in the beginning it's such a culture shock to have those 6 days off.
Blue Jays said that they took a little something from the Dodgers. You mentioned the Dodgers after the delay last year. Went and won in the division series against the Padres. What they did was try to simulate actual games. They brought in fans and played scrimmages. Blue Jays did that twice this week. Close run to deep left field. He's got his second home run of the game. And his 5th the last 3 games. on Saturday, 2 in game 162, 2 in game 1. He's not necessarily known for the power.
No, he's not known. He'll be known after this postseason, though.
Smacks one to left center field. That's headed for the wall. Varsho flying to second with a double. He's on for the 3rd time today.
Well, extension and gets out in front, hits that ball and hits it on a line. That got out quick.
And a little kiss from Alejandro Kirk. 15 home runs that he hit during the regular season. That was a career high. He needed 3 over the last 2 days to reach that. And now he's got the 4th multi-home run game in Blue Jays postseason history. Straw hacks the first pitch foul. We've seen everything that made the Blue Jays the top seed.
Yep.
Saw the starting pitching from Gausman. We've seen great defense. Bat to ball, put it in play, take advantage of the bases loaded situation last inning, and the power.
They have, I believe, more 2-strike hits than strikeouts. So that tells you what it means to pitch against them. I think if you're Max Fried and you're watching this game, obviously right-handed pitching is different than how he's going to approach him as a left-hander. But you never want a team feeling great and getting in a groove like this.
Straw joins the party with an opposite field base hit. They hold Varsho at 3rd. Straw came off of the bench as a pinch runner. His first time at the plate, gets a base hit. Well, for more on Blue Jays catcher Alejandro Kirk, here's Kenny.
Well, Joe, when the Jays signed Kirk out of Mexico for $30,000 in 2016, it was only because one of their former scouts, Dean DeSillis, was assigned to check out another catcher playing for the Toros de Tijuana. DeSillis preferred Kirk, but he knew the catcher's squatty build might turn off Jays officials. So he told them, promise me when he gets off the bus that you will not call me until you see him hit. Kirk, listed at 5'8", 245 pounds, became a 2-time All-Star and a postseason hero today.
And he's saying the other day, look, my whole life, the other players look better than me. Kenny mentioned the get off the bus test. He always loses that. But Alejandro said, then I let my bat do the talking for me.
I mean, some guys are hitterish, right? You hear that term, that means they just know how to hit. Don't have to be mechanically sound in every way and look perfect as your body. But when you can hit, you can hit. And Tony Gwynn, obviously the best we ever had. And he got up there. He wasn't exactly looking like the great athlete he was, and he showed it at the plate.
Blue Jays checking to see if this one hit him. They want a challenge. And they will.
The hitter's telling you right away that that nicked him.
You get 2 challenges in the postseason.
Toronto has challenged. The previous play is under review.
I have not used one yet. Might as well take a look at this here. Replay review is presented by Zoom. Back to New York. They're going to get a good look. Problem for the replay room is the ball's the same color as that glove.
Yeah, that won't be the view they're going to use, but you could see when he took his hand off the bat that he felt like he got nicked. Right here is, I think, the best view. You can see just enough of that batting glove catching the end, maybe.
Yeah, the call in the field being that it wasn't hit. I don't know if there's enough there. They're all watching it like us. Not going to get any closer than this look.
On the field is confirmed. The batter was not hit by the pitch.
Confirmed.
Toronto will have 1 challenge remaining.
All right, so not just call stands, call confirmed. And Andres is saying, well, then what did I feel? What do you mean confirmed? Batter's a really good actor. Paul Blackburn just over to the Yankees a little more than a month ago. He was with the New York Mets. They cut him loose. The Yankees picked him up. Pitched in a handful of games the last month. And here just trying to cover the last outs of this one. Preserve the pen for tomorrow. Swings away, swats it to left, and he'll take that anytime over a hit by pitch. Jimenez to second with an RBI double. Second hit of the day for Andres Jimenez.
Biggest difference in tonight is the location of all the hits that the Blue Jays have had and the lack of location that the Yankees have had. In other words, they have been pitched to much better.
Ernie Clement chases, and it's 0-2. Bottom of the order for the Blue Jays in this game. Awesome. Yeah, you've had the home run from Guerrero and a double from Lucas out of the 2 spot, but 5 through 9 in the order. 8 for 18 with 4 extra base hits. Clement chips one into center. That's Grisham for the catch. Here comes the throw home. Straw, who can fly, is in standing. A 9 spot for the Blue Jays in game 1. And the latest example of the Jays doing what they have to get the guy in from third.
It's too good of a pitch for 2 strikes.
First out of the inning, the 5th hitter that he faces. And Springer taking a ball. Brewers get 9 against the Cubs. Blue Jays get 9 against the Yankees, like they averaged against the Yankees in that season-turning 4-game sweep back at the start of July. There's just something about this place for the Yankees. Part of that is the team they're playing is pretty darn good.
Yeah. Well, you know, Springer wants to get in the hit parade. He's had such a great postseason career. His overall numbers, an MVP. You have to get a hit tonight.
On a 2-0 pitch. Smacks it foul. Reggie Jackson, Chase Utley, George Springer. That's the list of guys with 5 home runs in a World Series. He did it in 2017, the MVP for the Astros. Volpe. 2 out. This is a 2-1 game in the 6th inning, and you go to the top of the 6th. That's where the Yankees cut it to 1, had the bases loaded, nobody out, and settled for just the 1 run. The 2 innings since then, the Blue Jays with a 4 spot in the 7th and 3 more here in the 8th to turn it into a blowout.
1-1.
And Jeff Hoffman, who is the closer for these Blue Jays, and John Schneider not going to mess around, and it's also a spot to get him a little bit of work in a low-pressure situation, postseason game, but not a situation where you can blow it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's 2 schools of thought because they had the long layoff. You could see why you want to get him in, but at the same time, they get the Yankees to look at him in a situation where normally you wouldn't. So I understand, you know, pitching him in this game just because he hasn't been in game action for a while.
Pick up.
So all looking up for the Blue Jays. 9-1, the bottom of the 8th. 2-home run day from Alejandro Kirk. 12 hit output for the offense. 1-2 on Lucas. Taps the curve foul. As Lucas has doubled, it started the 4-run 7th. The only thing cold in Canada right now has been the Yankees. It's 75 degrees today. Defense is okay today, but the offense not there, and they have not been able to slow the Blue Jays offense. 10 ERA. The Yankees in this ballpark. Handed off to Fried tomorrow. Led the majors with 19 wins. There, the 1-2 to Lucas. Rolls it up the middle. Push bumping into center. You just can't put these guys away. Lucas knocks in his 3rd run of the day. They've got double digits in game 1.
That was a better pitch, but better hitting.
Runs on 13 hits and only 2 strikeouts. Ball on Guerrero. 2 hits, 2 runs knocked in. That includes a home run.
That's outside.
Nothing more than to get this season into the next round to get his running mate back, to get Bo Bichette ready. Guys arrived as the hope, the new faces of the franchise together in 2019. They're both still out with that knee injury.
That's outside.
For the Blue Jays is if they do advance to the championship series, that Bichette would be ready. Blackburn having to wear it. Deals a 3-1. Flat. Pokes another base hit to right. A 3-hit day for Guerrero Jr. A 14-hit day for the Blue Jays, and they've batted around here in the 8th.
You know, people are going to wake up. They didn't see the game, look at the final score and go, wow, this was never a game. But this was a great game for a long time, and a chance for the Yankees to do something similar. And once it was 2-1, they didn't capitalize. Toronto's taken over ever since.
Coming up when we finish, stay tuned for the postgame show on Fox, presented by Strauss. Kevin Burkhardt and the guys back in Los Angeles to recap not just this game, but to look ahead to Mariners and Tigers. It started at 8:38 Eastern on FS1. And take a look at the action across the rest of the majors. 9-3 Brewers. Final score in the first game in Milwaukee. Dodgers and Phillies are underway. Scoreless in the second. First at bat today for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Signed a 2-year contract with the Blue Jays before last year, but then got traded to the Pirates at the deadline. Brought back here to Toronto the end of August this year. It's another versatile piece that helps John Schneider do what he does, moving pieces around defensively. So many interchangeable pieces. Maximize the matchups, maximize the defense. It's 1-2. and Chisholm. To the 9th inning we go. Back-to-back 4-run innings for the Blue Jays. It's Kirk, his second home run of the game. A blowout for the Blue Jays in Game 1. Downtown Toronto, 10-1. Blue Jays ahead of the Yankees to the 9th inning. Only the second postseason game in Rogers Center history with the top open. They go to 2-0 in those games. Much less drama in this one. They won it on a walk-off the first time that it was open. Jeff Hoffman is on for Giancarlo Stanton. That's a good sign in the first pitch. 97 with his fastball that has been down the last month. 94, 95.
Yeah, well, he's got a wipeout slider that he's going to use. I don't know how much he'll show him that in this inning, but signature pitch for him.
Stanton climbs the ladder, sends it way up. Ernie Clement into foul ground to put it away. 1 gone in the 9th.
That's a lot of decisions. 9 and 7?
Yeah.
I mean, and 33 saves? Is that right?
33 saves, top 5 in the league.
Wow.
Big issue for him, home runs. 15 of them allowed this year is the most in the American League. But only gave up 1 run in September. You mentioned the velocity was down. The issue in September kind of became more command. He walked more guys. Overall, though, they're trying to capture a little better feeling about their guy at the back end here. Chisholm fouls off 97. They were hoping that some of the mechanical changes he was working on during the week off and just simply having the week off was going to help. And first signs are promising. All of 3 pitches of him.
That's inside.
Tone set by a couple guys in this game for the Blue Jays. Vlad offensively with the home run in the first inning, the defense in the second inning, the pitching from Kevin Gausman. I mean, he just cruised. Low stress until the Yankees put the pressure on in the 6th.
Ball 2.
And you got to give him credit and give his manager credit for leaving him in there for the majority of that inning to only give up 1 run. And then Varland came in and struck out Stanton. That's maybe a little lesson learned from last time they were in the postseason.
There's that slider. 2-2.
And Schneider talked about, you know, learning from taking out Berrios in Minnesota a little earlier than what some thought.
That was the last postseason trip for the Blue Jays. It was his first as a manager in 2023. And it was a 0-0 game in the 4th inning. Berrios issued a leadoff walk and he took him out. Kikuchi came in and gave up 2. They lost that game 2-0. And we asked him about it today. And he said that that'll stay with him for the rest of his life. But he said, look, that's kind of what life is about, is going through things and learning from them. Hoffman fires a 3-2.
Hey, go. Thanks.
So the Yankees will try to wipe this one clean quickly from their memories. Send their ace to the mound tomorrow, and Max Fried, another 4 o'clock start time. Fried, veteran for the Yankees. Trey Savage, his 4th major league start for the Blue Jays. Pop fly left field. Miles Straw. 2 gone in the 9th. I mentioned tomorrow's game. Pre-game will begin at 3 o'clock. First pitch at 4:08. Scene shifts to New York Tuesday and Wednesday. And back here next Friday if Game 5 is necessary. This one was tight over the first 6. Jays, though, 4 in the 7th, 4 in the 8th. Caballero. Well, they've ended 1 drought. First division title in 10 years for the Blue Jays. About to end another with the first postseason win in 9 years. They're saying don't stop there, though. The goal of this team, the hope for this city, is that they end the drought that matters most. They're looking for their first world championship in 32 years.
Just to give it perspective, 17 batters the last 2 hitters took the Yankees to the 6th inning to get their 17th batter.
Oh, baby, gets away from Hoffman. Scary 97 gets Caballero, who was able to avoid the worst. Caballero will take second. No contest and strike on Volpe. 10 runs on 14 hits in this game for the Blue Jays. A run on just 6 hits for the Yankees. Strike 2, and there goes the bat. Look out over there, right into the Blue Jays dugout. We got strays going everywhere.
Always wondered. He's never a good enough hitter to figure out how that can happen. They talk about throwing the barrel of the bat at the ball. Well, he threw the barrel of the bat. Find tar to get a little more grip.
Good idea. Torpedo bat. All the rage early on this season. Remember when? That feels like it was 9 years ago. They're getting the Yankees down to their last strike. Yeah, just misses. Hoffman will try it again. This away, 2-2 on Volpe. Scored the lone run in this game for the Yankees. He's continued to, relative to what he's done in the regular season, produce in the postseason. With that double and run scored, he's reached base in 17 of his last 18 postseason games. On a 2-2 from Hoffman. He's down on strikes, and the Blue Jays say, here we are. A statement win in their first game of October. It's the first postseason win for Toronto in 9 years. And it's a resounding one. 10-1 over the New York Yankees.
They certainly wanted a game like this, and you know that this crowd was into it early with the 2 home runs, but then, man, oh man, did they flex their philosophy and what they do at the plate about as well as anybody from the 7th inning on.
Early home runs from Kirk and from Guerrero, and then to your point, the 4 runs in the 7th, 4 runs in the 8th to rack it up against the Yankees bullpen. An easy 10-1 finish for John Schneider's club. He gets his first postseason win as the skipper. He'll send his kid to the mound tomorrow, literally, but the kid, Trailer Savage, makes his 4th postseason start against the veteran Max Fried. Coming up after the break, we'll get you to the studio. Kevin Burkhardt and our all-star crew of Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, David Ortiz, and Dontrell Willis. They got more postseason coverage on the other side of this break. Jays 10, Yankees 1. We'll be back with Game 2 tomorrow.